So good morning, everybody, to our what is today? March 21st Zoom meeting for Thread Magicians. Um, if I imagine some of you might be here for the very first time. Every month we have more and more new members joining our group from all over the country. We are now almost at 600 names on our list. Right now 49 people at the Zoom meeting, and I know a lot of people watch the recording afterwards because they can't join us live. And, work and life gets in the way sometimes, and people just can't be here at the meeting, but, we always record it and send a link out so people can watch it afterwards. So if it's your first time here, welcome. If you've been here many times before, welcome also. We're glad to have you. So I think Glenna has everybody muted. If you have something that you need to say, you can unmute and talk to us. But we keep everybody muted when somebody's doing a program or speaking, just so that we don't have the distractions of background noise. Somebody talks to you, the phone rings, the dog barks, something happens. So that's why we keep people on mute. We will have show and tell time after our program. And I want to thank Glenna for being co-host again today. She's working quietly in the background, keeping things going while I'm talking. Just a reminder that Thread Magicians have a Facebook group. It's called Thread Magicians ASG. If you are on Facebook and not in that group, occasionally people are asking questions, showing pictures of things that they've made. So it's just another way to help us keep in touch in between meetings. Our next meeting will be April 18th, and I don't currently have anything scheduled for a topic or program for that. So I welcome suggestions, volunteers. We had a suggestion on doing embroidery on foam. So if anybody is experienced in that and wants to do something along that line, just let me know. And had a suggestion to see if Nadine from Embroidery Mom could do something for us. I have not reached out to her yet, but maybe we'll get her to join us on Zoom for a meeting. And I think that's it for my announcements for now. So I'll turn things over to our program presenter today, which is Sue, and hopefully I say your name, Pietrzak, from the Rochester chapter. So Glenna, you can switch over to Sue. All right, Sue,
Hi.
You're on.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. So a couple years ago, I ran into a friend and she was showing me her finished quilts. And I asked her where she got them long arm because they were, really nice. And she said that she did them herself on her embroidery machine. So I was working at the time and didn't have time to research any of this stuff. So when I retired, I decided to really dive into my embroidery machine and learn the different things that it offers. And so one of the things was the quilting. So I got on the different embroidery sites and saw they offered the edge to edge or end to end designs. And I was still a little leery to start anything. So I eventually got brave enough to try, and I'm going to share my screen with you. So this is a wall hanging that I did. I've only done small items. I haven't attempted a full-size quilt. So I've done wall hangings, table runners, small pieces. And this is a Santa Claus or a Saint Nick. And on the right-hand side is the embroidery zoomed in. This one's a moose. It's kind of hard to see the quilting, so I zoomed it in for you. And that's just a simple stipple design. And I went to a shop hop last year, a local shop hop in Rochester, and one of the shops offered this Amelie Designs. And I've seen her on YouTube and I watched her video and she makes it sound so easy. So I thought, I'm going to get the book and try it out. So her beginner book comes with 10 designs and they come in 3 different sizes, a small, medium, and large. And you can increase or decrease the designs up to 10%. The book says you can't, but they've come out now and they say you can do it. They've adjusted the design so you can do it. So she has a really unique way of doing this. And she's actually the person that started doing this back in 2008, came up with this technique. And also the store that I bought this at told me that if I bring one of those designs on a USB, they can put it in their long arm and it would read it and it would quilt it out for me. So I could do a large quilt, but using their long arm machine. I haven't tried that yet, but that's on my list. So that would be kind of fun to watch doing it. Her YouTube also has, or her website has, a technique on how to hoop any size quilt. So like if you have different size, or I'm sorry, sandwiching your quilt, any size quilt. So if you have a small table, but you have to sandwich a big quilt, she gives you techniques on how to do that. So she's just an all around very smart person. So the supplies that you're gonna need, obviously, is your embroidery design. You're going to have to print out templates and hoops. Your hoops, you can use a regular hoop, or you can use a magnetic hoop, which I did invest in. I bought the dime magnetic hoops, and they really are a game saver. They save a lot of time. So I recommend the magnetic hoops. Temporary spray adhesive or safety pins, whatever you're comfortable with. I personally use the temporary spray adhesive. I'm always nervous about forgetting to take a pin out, or if you go to hoop your wall hanging and your pin is in the way, it might, mess things up. And I don't know, I just stick with the spray adhesive. The thread that you want to use, you can either use embroidery or regular thread. Have some bobbins wound ahead of time, extra ones, and you want to match that to your top thread. Size 11 sharp needle, and the batting you want to use a lightweight cotton. So the way she does her templates is she has 2 templates, an A design and a B design. And you're connecting, there's both a start and an end point, and you're connecting the end point of one to the start point of the other. So what she recommends is that you stitch your templates out on Solvay so you can see through them. And you want to make sure that you label the designs after you stitch them out, A and B. When you're done stitching, you trace around the design, unhoop it.
The declarations were finalized last.
You trace around the design and you cut to that line. So you are cutting the size of your inside hoop. And I store them in a Ziploc bag to keep them nice and straight. The next thing you want to do is there is a little math involved, but she's very good at explaining all this in the book. And if you're a little off, it doesn't really matter. It's going to all blend in. So typically you start in the middle of your quilt or your wall hanging, and you start with file A. So that's right in the middle. And then you move over to the right and you stitch file B, and you're doing them in columns, and you connect file B to file A on the template. You try to get as close as you can when you're hooping, but if you're a little off, most machines have a positioning function that you can move your design a little bit to the right or to the left or up and down to get that exact point. Again, if you're off a little bit, you're not gonna notice it when you're all done. But the more you do it, the better you get at finding that spot. And then you just keep going, alternating the designs from file A to file B until you get to the end of your wall hanging or quilt. Then her technique is to rotate your project 180 degrees and start again with file A, file B, file A on the left-hand side. So it's really kind of a cool design because you're working, it blends in so nice because you're looking at it the normal way, and then it's kind of rotated, and it just, I don't know, it just is really cool. I just love it. And people do not know that you've actually done this on your embroidery machine. The right-hand side photo that I put up there is, I believe it was from Embroidery Library. And they have you draw lines for your placements of your hoops. She doesn't have you do that. Also, if you look closely at their design, you can see kind of the repeat of the design, where on hers, they just blend in so much nicer that you don't really see the repeat. Okay. So the tips that I have are practice on a sandwich quilt or wall hanging of like a solid fabric so you can actually see at the end where you've joined the designs, and just keep practicing that. Play with your machine, getting that positioning correct. Also, you can tape around your wall hanging. You can tape around it so your presser foot doesn't get jammed up on the edges of the designs. I've done this. Sometimes it works. Sometimes I still get jammed up with the tape. So I just really watch myself when I get near the edge of the quilt to make sure that I'm not going to be, catching my foot. Also, you're going to have to run off the top a little bit to have it really blend in. So as you can see on this one, she ran off at the top and off on the side a little bit. What I have found, instead of sitting there and watching it stitch on the batting or, just stuff you're going to throw away, I let it go off the design, maybe 5 stitches. I stop my machine and then I advance it to the next section where it's going to be back on the top. And that saves time, and it saves you just sitting there watching it stitch on your batting. And the more you do, the more proficient you'll get with it. But she's really great, and I haven't bought any of her plugins. She has a lot of extra designs that you can get. I haven't purchased any of those because pretty much everything I've done, I've used one of those 10, and but there's a ton out there from her, and I think you'd really enjoy trying it. Let's see, I think that's really all I have. Is there other, questions or anything that I can answer for anybody?
I think there was something in chat, so let's see.
Okay.
Oh, I thought there was, somebody asked, what machine do you use?
I have a Brother
Machine.
Dream. Yeah, I have a Brother Dream machine too. So it's been out for a while.
Pam asked if anyone has tried edge-to-edge quilting on a tile scene. Don't a lot of the tile scenes have quilting already built into it?
I think so.
Brenda wants to know if you can go over how to calculate where you start again.
I didn't really go over that, but let me grab my book. It's a little complicated on how to calculate, but she has really good directions on how to do that. Let's see. So,
All right,
you
so if you're
obviously-
done with, so are you done with screen sharing? We can go back to,
yeah,
or do you have something else in your PowerPoint?
nope, unless somebody wanted to see something, I can stop.
Okay. We can always go back to it if necessary.
Sure. Yeah, there's a whole formula that you would do, but basically starting measuring your quilt, finding the center, but then also measuring how big the design stitched out in your hoop. So if your design stitches out 6.5 inches and your quilt is 60 inches, you're probably going to have approximately 10 hoopings, approximately. But again, it's kind of complicated, but her book is really good and it explains how far down you should start on your quilt, the distance between the two designs in a column. You don't want them to spread out too far. The first time I did one, my design was like, had a gap like that much. But then you just get better. And that's why I thought if you stitch on plain fabric to start and you can really see where you're lining up, it works out. You know, again, you do it a few times, you're gonna get much better at it. But this is
There's a
her,
bunch of, okay, go ahead.
yeah, this is her page on the measuring. So she's very good and it's very thorough.
Okay, there's a bunch of things in chat, so let me guess.
Okay.
I got that one. Okay, how to start? You did that one. Batting preference.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a
I'm gonna
batting preference?
Yeah, I do the thin cotton batting. I've done warm and natural just because I've had maybe scraps here that I wanted to use, and it works fine. I never had a problem with any of the battings, but she does recommend a lightweight cotton batting. And then
Does
also,
she? Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Well, I wanted to say that she does recommend not doing a flannel quilt. You probably could do a table runner or a wall hanging flannel, but a quilt is too heavy and it could damage your machine, the weight of it. And there are things out there that like dime sells or other people sell to like drape your quilt over as you're embroidering it. But I don't have the room to do that. So I would never attempt. And plus with the lint of a flannel, I wouldn't do a flannel.
Well, you just answered the next question, because
Oh.
Regina asked if she talks about keeping the weight up off the machine. And yeah, anything large and heavy, you should try to support the extra.
Does she
Elizabeth
recommend
asked,
anything in particular or no?
She doesn't, but the dime has this kind of like you know what those easy up tents are? They're kind of like, you know, the frame that goes up and down. It's kind of like that, where you would open it up and then you would drape your quilt over it next to your machine. Now a friend of mine does all her quilts. She does large quilts, she does wall hangings, table, and I asked her about that, and she just said that she has a big table that her machine is on. So a lot of it is on the table, and then she might hold up a section if it gets to be too heavy. Now one thing with like I think the Designs by Juju, I think that's the one, and Embroidery Library, they just have you go start at the left and move over to the right. And that was the other thing I really liked about her is when you get half of it done and you rotate it and then you start working on the other half, it just doesn't seem to have that bulk that you would have. So that's another feature of hers that I really kind of liked.
Elizabeth asked if magnetic hoops fit any embroidery machine.
I believe so. You again, I got them through that quilt shop and they were dime embroidery or magnetic hoops. And I just had to tell them what machine I had. And they had different hoops that fit different machines.
Kathy said, can you go back to the section where you were talking about tracing around the design? I think that was when
Sure.
you did it on stabilizer. So you can go back to
Yeah.
screen share.
Okay. Okay, so what she suggests is you stitch out the designs on Solvay. I use the Ultra just to have it a little bit heavier.
For those that
And
don't know, that's a water soluble stabilizer, in case you're not sure what Ultra Solvay is.
so that's what I used. And I stitched all her designs because I was being very good and I read the book from cover to cover. And I stitched out all her designs, like she said, in just the two sizes, the small and the large. This happens to be the large, and this is the daisy. So as you can see, the one on the left is labeled Daisy A. So that's what you're going to use on your first column, going all the way down from top to bottom. And then Daisy B is where you're going to connect the next column over to the right, matching the endpoint of Daisy A. It's a little confusing, but once you see it, it's not bad. So you stitch them out, and before you take it out of the hoop, you want to trace around the inside of your hoop, take it out of the hoop, and cut on that line, and that is the size or the exact thing that's going to stitch when you go to put that in your hoop. Am I saying that right? So that's exactly what you're going to see in your hoop when you go to stitch it out.
Are you using those templates to help line things up, or?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
So when you take out your design, you're going to stitch the first one. I take it right out of my machine, take it over to my table, reposition it to the next design in that column. And there is, I believe, you want to have about an inch between designs. The first time I did it, I was like 3 or 4 inches between designs, and that didn't obviously look good. So you place your template down about a half an inch or an inch away from the bottom part of that design and rehoop. And then when you get to your machine, you just stitch it out. When you go to the next column is when you're actually going to start joining or connecting the designs. And that should follow right in line with that first column that you did. That's kind of the guide for the rest of the quilting.
Do you find it faster to do it with the machine or just to do free motion?
I'm not good at free motion, to be honest with you. I can do a little bit, but I would never attempt to do like a table runner or a wall hanging. Maybe a pot holder I would do, but I'm not good at free motion. So, and this really isn't bad. I did that moose one. I think that was 15 hoopings, and I did it like, maybe in a couple hours. It really wasn't bad. Once you get going, you really get the hang of it. And I know with the designs by Juju, and like I said, they have you start at the left and move over to the right. I think those lines they have you draw, you don't even have to unhoop from your machine. My girlfriend just like takes her top hoop off or loosens it up and then slides the quilt right on her machine over. I don't know. I haven't done that. I stick with this, and it seems to work good for me.
Okay, if you can stop screen share, Sue, and we'll go back to, there's more questions in chat, so I can see them better from.
Sure.
All righty, let's see. Next, what kind of stabilizer works best with the technique? You're not using stabilizer.
Nope,
You
no
just have your quilt
stabilizer.
sandwich.
Yep, just your quilt is sandwiched, your backing, your batting, and your quilt. I spray adhesive in between the layers and to keep them together. You can, safety pin two or instead of the temporary spray adhesive, but again, that's a preference, whatever works for you.
Let's see, Elaine asked about how many hoopings in a twin size. That depends on the size of your design and the
Mhm.
size of your hoop.
Mhm. Yep. Now, when you use the hoops, the bigger hoops, your design is going to be bigger, obviously. So it's not the same size design that's in a 4x4 and just repeated. They're actually a little bit bigger. So it's what looks good. I did that on, because I was lazy. I didn't want to use my small hoop and hoop it, 15 times for a table runner. I thought, oh, I'll just use the large hoop. Well, the design is bigger. So that didn't work out. I mean, it looked okay, but it wasn't like my favorite thing. But it's live and learn, you know. Again, the more you do it, the hooping will become much easier. And if you have that function on your machine where you can position your design and tweak it a little bit left or right or up and down, that works really well too.
And what I'll add to what Sue just said, she said you can increase the size of the design up to 10%. However, if you're completely filling the space of your hoop space, you don't have room to move. If you get that design so big that it really fills your hoop, you want to have it a little bit smaller so you do have that little wiggle room to line things up if you didn't get it hooped right.
Right. Yep.
I wanted to add too that Amelia has partnered with Dime and they
Oops, we lost.
You lost your sound.
Yeah, I know.
I just wanted to add something to the sizing of the blocks. That Dime has partnered now with Amelia and they have a program you can just put in the size of your quilt. And for all of her designs, then it will adjust the size of the block that you're doing or the pattern that you're doing. And it makes the different things so that it'll line it all up just perfectly.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was just recently came out about a month ago. So anyways, check it out. Of course, you do have to pay for it, but it's not that much.
And that's through
Is that
Dime.
on the Dime website?
Yes. Well, and I think Amelia, she's advertising it too, because she's partnered with it. And so it'll be on her site too. Yeah.
Okay.
And I am a slider. I do slide mine back and forth. And I don't take that bottom hoop off of my machine. I go ahead and just slide the top. And they also have the little magnets that go on top that you can use those too. So it's fun.
Yeah, it is. It's fun to say you did it on your embroidery machine. And people
Yeah,
look at you like, what?
Thank you, Patty. All right, back to chat and questions. Somebody said, it's my understanding this is not a stitch as you go method, but done on a finished quilt sandwich. Is this correct? And yes, that is
Yes.
correct.
Mhm.
Pam asked if there's any videos that you recommend.
She has, Amelia has a YouTube that she does really well. And when you buy the book and it comes with a product code in the back, you would download all the designs and there's a video on that too. Instructions.
Brenda says she bought Amelia's designs years ago and did a baby quilt and a mystery quilt. She found the challenge was making sure your vertical and horizontal were straight, that it's easy to
Yeah, it's
go
easy to get
askew.
off a little bit. Yeah, yep. So that's another reason why I haven't gotten good at the sliding method. I take it out of my machine and put it to my table and make sure that everything stays straight. But again, when you're all done, it's going to all blend. Depending how big your item is that you're doing, really obvious. Yeah.
Andy says her designs come in 3 sizes, which are in 3 different scales that allows you to choose a design that's the right scale for your print or your project.
Mhm.
And Kat says flannel also stretches as you quilt or stitch.
Mhm.
Marie asked if you've taken Amelie's online course. How was it?
I have not taken the online course. I found the YouTube that she did and the book to be sufficient. I haven't taken her class. I'm sure it's very
Marie,
good.
yeah. Marie asks if there are hash marks to align the vertical pattern so that you get it straight.
Yes. Well, what they have you do is they have you stitch out the design, draw your hash marks, and right before you unhoop it with your line around it. I just
Now you're talking about on the stabilizer, right?
on the
You mark your
stabilizer.
lines on
Yeah,
the stabilizer.
yeah, yeah.
Your template.
Yeah, I didn't do that because I felt that by cutting the hoop or the stabilizer to the size of my inside hoop, I could just measure that way, and it seems to be fine. You know, at first you're going to have to go a little slow and check out the different. You're going to make mistakes. That's why I said practice on something that doesn't matter to anybody.
Okay, this one's for me. Kat wanted me to repeat the name of the Facebook group. It's Thread Magicians ASG. I can put it in chat also when I get through reading all the messages that are in
I
chat.
remember it now. Thank you so much, Bev.
You're welcome. Crystal says she also has purchased Amelie Scott's designs and finds them perfect for small projects, bags, table runners, wall hangings. Their instructions are great, and her machine also has some built-in edge-to-edge quilting designs.
Well, that's nice.
Oh, and thank you, Pam, for answering the question about the name of the group. The Facebook group does have ASG on the end of it. I don't know if there's another group out there that's called Thread Magicians or not. Let's see. Elizabeth has done quilting on a table runner using an endless hoop, which works out okay for those who want to slide their quilt section. And let's see, I think I'm getting to the end of the questions for now. Kendra said OESD and Embroidery Library have videos for edge-to-edge quilting that help with their designs. And I think most of the designers that come out with this type of design do provide some sort of instructions, at least hopefully they do.
Yes.
Let's see, I think that's it for chat for now. If anybody has anything they want to ask, you can.
Pam has her hand up.
Okay, thank you. Pam, you're muted.
I was just going to say that I use some of her designs, like I've had like the witch, the poison witch design for embroidery, and I have just placed them different places. So that little tail that comes out and hooks to the next one, I just stop my machine before it gets there.
Sure.
And then that way it looks just like a complete design. Another thing is, if you're afraid of matching up those little ends, you can stop the machine before it gets that far, and then you won't have that little tail out there to match.
Done that too.
Yeah.
I've done that too on
Very good.
occasion, where, because once you, even if it's, I'll say a closed design where it doesn't have the little tails to join up, once it's stitched, you can't tell that they're not joined to the next thing. So, you know, there's ways to make your life a little easier if you have trouble getting things hooped and positioned.
Yeah.
Right.
Anybody
Another
else?
thing-
Okay, I see another hand up. Hang on. Aaron, Lucas, we're coming to you. Okay, I can't spotlight Karen. Oh, there's now her camera's on.
Hi there. Thank you for the wonderful presentation. I wanted to ask you about the depth of the batting. if you're going to do a bag, sometimes you can use a very thick or a very sturdy type batting. Will embroidery work as well?
I don't know. I haven't done anything with a real thick batting, or a high loft batting. I've only done, what she recommended, the thin cotton batting. You could try it and see, but I don't know if anybody else out there has tried that. I guess the best thing to do is just try it on a little piece and see if it works.
Yeah, try it on a
Sample.
sample, see if it works.
Yeah.
Okay. Jenny has her hand up.
I've kind of gotten into this a little bit and I followed stuff on OESD. And what I found helpful is I'm not a quilter. So let's start with that. But I've made some baby quilts and stuff and they come in different sizes, but I use this OESD Fusion fleece because you can iron it down and it doesn't shift when you're working on it. And I did this. This is a fabric, like this, but this is going to be a purse. I decided after I quilted, I wanted to learn how to do this. So I did this myself. And there's the back side with the butterfly or dragonfly edge to edge that I had gotten. I think it was from OESD, but I make a paper template, or Dime sells those sheets that you can print out on that are sticky. And I can, put like 2 of them down and line them up, and then I'll draw my lines on there so I know that when I move it, it's square. But I find making templates, even of embroidery designs, where I can actually put it down when it's in the hoop. And I have Viking and Pfaff machines, which they have their own brand of metal hoops. But they work great for this type of stuff. But I really like the Fusion fleece if you're doing small stuff.
I'm going to check that out. Thank you.
Thanks, Jenny. Okay, let's see. Patty has her hand up again.
There. I wanted to talk about the tie-offs too, because sometimes people are concerned about that on the back of their quilts where it has a knot. Amelia's
Mhm.
designs, you can turn your cutters off for Amelia Designs because she has whatever her technique or whatever she's programmed in there doesn't create that double knot. I have a Solaris, so I can turn those off. And anyways, then it doesn't get those big knots on the back. So Amelia's designs are very good.
Yes, yes. The other thing I wanted to mention is she does have a free edge to edge that you can try her technique without buying the book. And it's the patriotic, so it's for Quilts of Valor, for anybody that does Quilts of Valor work. You can download her design and just test it out and try it.
Jenny, you still have your hand up. Is that just from your previous comment, or did you have something else you wanted to add?
No, sorry, I forgot to take my hand down.
And sometimes I take people's hand down, but I didn't do it. So I just wanted to make sure we weren't ignoring you. There's some things in chat again. So let me go back to chat and see where we left off. That's Kendra. Marie asked, do you hoop all 3 layers or float the quilt top? Then you have to hoop all 3 layers.
You hoop, yeah, you hoop all 3 layers. Yep.
Because
That's
you're not
why-
using stabilizer, you have to
Right.
have something in the hoop.
Yep. And that's why I found the first one I did, I, used my regular hoops that came with my machine, but they are a little tricky trying to get that screw tight and get it in there with all 3 layers. So
Mhm.
then I invested in the magnetic hoops, and yeah, works a lot easier. But also with those, as one of the ladies said, is you can go askew with those because they are easier, but you can move a little bit too fast and get yourself out of whack. So you just got to be careful what you're doing.
Sheila says there was a free video yesterday with Dime and Amelia Scott. Thank you from Kathy. And Carolyn asks if you can give tips for magnetic hoop.
Well, be careful that you don't pitch your finger. They
Exactly what
go
I
down
thought.
really hard. So yeah, you want to be really careful with those. A lot of the machines have magnetic hoops now, or the brands have them. I got the dime, and it works really well. The other thing with the regular hoop, which I kind of forgot about, but when I was doing the PowerPoint, I went back to her video and rewatched it, is she does suggest putting like double layer tape on your top of the top hoop, and putting that on your wall hanging or your project, and then sliding the other hoop underneath, and then it won't move. So that's a really good tip, that if you don't want to invest in a magnetic hoop and you want to try this, get double-sided tape, and then your top hoop doesn't move on you. But again, you have to tighten that screw really good to get it to stitch out nice. I think the Brother does have magnetic hoops now. My machine does not have it, so I had to invest in, the dime. But you want to be careful because it snaps, and it snaps hard.
Okay, hang on. I'm just writing something down while you were talking. Pam said she has used fusible fleece, and I have too.
Okay.
I've used fusible fleece and like warm and natural kind of cotton batting. Carol Larson says, thank you for allowing me to be part of this meeting. She looks forward to doing more. And how do we access this recording? Somebody got on late. Either later today or by sometime tomorrow. Glenda, do you want to add me to the spotlight? Thank you. Later today or by tomorrow, hopefully, I will have the recording ready to send out. So look for an email from me within the next day or so. I usually get the recording out, as long as technology works and other distractions don't get in the way. Let's see. Another thank you for the information. She's eager to try edge to edge quilting, and yet, try it, even if it's just on a sample, like Patty, Sue said, try her free design, or anybody's. Somebody else might have a free design or that you might already have purchased. Crystal says she prefers to use her Puff magnetic hoop because it uses small magnets. And she's also used those magnets on the dime hoops instead of the very strong magnetic square. And yeah, I've been going to try that because sometimes, that the dime hoop, the top hoop snaps right down on there, and you got to make sure you don't get your fingers caught in there. Then Pam says make sure the back of the hoop doesn't have any pins accidentally attached to it, because you can't see them, but man, your needle will find it. And Brother has magnetic hoops. I think most of the brands of machines also sell magnetic hoops. There's a limit to how big they can make them, because if the hoop is way too big, then it's too heavy, and it just, even though regular hoops can be larger, there's usually a limit to what the magnetic hoop size will be. And okay, Lori's on the Dime education team. If you go to inspiredbydime.com, you can register for any of the free inspiration socials and look for the calendar for Edge to Edge quilting in the hoop ones. The replays are good for 48 hours. Well, that's good information. I was not aware of that.
What was the site on that again?
Inspiredbydime.com. I'll include all the tech information in text when I send out the video recording. So, and I think okay, Glenna, here's a technical question for you, because I think there's a way to save the chat. I mean, it saves on my computer, but isn't there a way for people to save the chat before they leave the meeting?
There used to be. Something has changed in the last week. When you click on chat, you used to have 3 little dots in the message box that you clicked on that said save chat. That's gone. I'm gonna have to do some research because we ran into this yesterday. I don't know what's happened to save chat.
Well,
Mine
if Glenna
still has
doesn't
the
know, then
dots.
nobody knows.
It's still on mine.
Yeah,
The
it's
3
still on
dots.
mine too.
Well, it's probably on yours then because you've not updated your Zoom and mine automatically updates. So I don't know what happened to mine. But
You
yeah,
can
if
save the
it's on
chat.
your open chat and if there's 3 little dots in the message box, click on that and save chat. And then after you leave this meeting, it will a file will open, a file folder will open, and that's where your chat is saved, and that's in your C drive, in your documents, and then Zoom. That's the path. So I always rename it and move it to Thread Magicians or whatever when I save it.
Thank you, Glenna. Let's see, I think there's one more question here. What type or size of magnets would you recommend to use on the dime hoops? The ones that come with the hoop are very hard to move sometimes. Do you have that type of magnetic hoop?
Yeah, my magnetic hoop, the whole top hoop is all magnet.
It's magnetic.
So, yeah,
But
you
I know
can't.
some of the hoops do come with removable magnets. If anybody has experience with those, maybe can chime in and let us know. I have the removable ones, but I have not used them a whole lot yet. So I can't answer that. And I think the ones, since I have a Viking, I believe I bought separate magnets from my Viking dealer. And Sheila just put in chat the embroidery cruise info with Sew and Sail. So she had asked earlier if anybody was going on the Sew and Sail cruise in May. But anybody wants to let Sheila know if they are going, I'm sure she'd be happy to know if any of our fellow thread magicians are going on that cruise. Okay.
You have a couple of hands up.
A couple of hands up. Okay, thank you, Glenn. I hadn't looked over there. Patty.
I just wanted to comment on the hoops too. Once you do get everything hooped up, you need, if you're going to move it from your table to the machine, have something underneath it. Because it's so heavy that it does pull then out of the magnet, the hoop. So they usually do send a big piece of cardboard that goes in between your hoops, the magnet hoops. And you can put that underneath it so that you can walk across the room with it and it doesn't slip out of there. And those little round separate magnets you can just buy online, and they're about as big as a quarter, and they usually come like 6 or 8 a package or something. That's all.
Yeah. Wait, there's in chat, Vikings, Sheila says Viking said not to use more than 8 magnets on metal hoops. And Sherry C says she's going on that cruise. So Sheila and Sherry, you can look for each other. Anybody? Oh, Jenny's got her hand up again.
Viking and Thoth make 4 metal hoops that look like this. The largest being 200 by 200, which will fit an 8-inch square, I think, in it. These are the round hoops, magnets that they sell. I don't know about the ones that you'd buy generically, but these are real tough to get off and on, but they're not as difficult as I found with the dime hoop, which I had before these came out. But I've used the round magnets on the dime hoop. My dime hoop went south all of a sudden. It wouldn't work in either machine all of a sudden for about a month ago. So I don't know why. But at any rate, I use these. And one of the things with the metal hoops is if you're using a like Aqua Magic Plus or something that you want the sticky part here to hold stuff down, they showed on one of their websites one time where you attach it on the back and then you score it from the front. And yeah, you have to clean the back. I keep a bottle of mineral spirits. It works great for all kinds of stuff. But I find that really helpful to put the sticky stuff on the, stick it to the back of this rather than trying to have the paper and everything in the front. So just kind of a tip that I found really helpful.
Thank you, Jenny. Anybody else, comments or questions for Sue or anything about edge to edge quilting on your embroidery machine? If not, we'll move on to show and tell time. So once again, if you want to raise your hand with the icon, which you will probably find under, oh goodness gracious, things look different again. Where did they put? It might be under more. It might, mine's under more now. It might be under reactions. So everybody's device or computer is finally different. So we'll deal with the ones that raise their hand with the icon. And then afterwards, if you don't know how to do that, and just wave at us or talk to us and we will figure out how to get you up here. So I see first Patty McLaren from Prescott.
And I sent mine to you, and then I
You
also
did, and I have it. So let me
Yay.
switch
And-
over.
and then I do have one to share on a screen.
Okay,
I'll let you
let me
know.
switch over to and there's Patty.
There's my little, wake you up or table runner. This was done, this is not an edge to edge, because you can see it's a block one, so that the block, we designed the block. This is a Sew with Joe project. Design the block, and then you use the fill stitches to do the
Oh,
quilting.
wait a minute. I just did something here that I shouldn't have done. Oh gosh, I minimized it. What did I do?
Mine's big.
Oh, well,
You
wait a
just
minute.
you just minimized yours. Look for your
Yeah,
Zoom. Look for your
how do
Zoom
I get it
screen.
back?
Look
Okay,
for
I'm just
your
gonna
Zoom
stop share and do
icon.
it again.
That'll work.
Oh my goodness. I was trying to enlarge it and I minimized it and then oh goodness gracious.
There it is again.
There it is.
So-
Now it's big. I was trying to make it
so-
bigger and I hit it on everybody.
The table runner, so that is a block that we created, and then we did the field designs in each one of the different areas. And then I did design the border and did the field design on the border too. And then it's all just sewn together. And then those little Easter babies are for my granddaughters for Easter. And they're all in the hoop. And then we designed, so Joe, we designed those little coasters, which were pretty easy, and they just have the field designs too. And then I did have one that I wanted to try to do my share screen. So
Okay,
do-
let me stop sharing and then you can share.
Okay, where is my share screen? And then to do this, I minimize this thing, right?
You don't know, you just have to go to share screen and then find
There.
what you want to show.
There, can you see it?
No. You find what you want to share and then there'll be something that says share.
Oh. Well, that's what I want to share, but it doesn't say share.
You click on share screen and then click on the item you want to share, and then there's another share button in the lower right-hand corner
Of the
Of the-
Zoom?
of the pop-up box.
Well, I assume you want to show a photo, so you
Yeah,
need to
so
have
I've
the
got it on
photo
my
open.
desktop. I've got it on my desktop.
Okay, so when you do share screen, the green button on Zoom, and then find what you want to share, and then there's another share button for you to click.
Well, my Zoom went away. Oh, here you are. So I guess I'm not going to do this today. I was going to try, but I was brave. Okay, wait. Let me try one more time. There's my Zoom. Yeah, we'll just not do this, I think. I tried. I had to practice more. Oh, wait, here's the green thing. Did that? Oh,
Nope,
no.
we still see you.
So I've got the share screen. It's the green button and I hit it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, another pop-up came up, and then I want to show this. And then I'm going to click share. Did it work?
It did.
Yay. Okay, so this is my cork design, and the little tops of the threads are the cork.
Oh, cute.
Yeah, and it was very fun, and cork was very easy, and it was very easy to do. So anyways, that's
Beautiful.
it. Okay, so now I stop sharing, right? Stop
That's right.
share. There we go.
Good.
Good job.
Yay,
I
you
did
did
some-
Nice.
I did something new today. I'm so proud of myself. Okay. I'll mute. Next.
Okay, next is Elaine from Boston.
Oh, okay. I took a little class last night from Kimberbell, and I made this cute little sampler.
Ah,
Isn't that sweet with the little flowers? It's something I was having trouble with. So I know it's stuff that you usually do. This is a little chenille one. But it's good to take a refresher course, don't you think?
With different tech, whose was that, did you say?
It's a Kimberbell.
Kimberbell, okay.
Yeah. One of the online ones, the I don't know. They're usually from quilt stores and things like that.
Okay,
But I thought it was kind of cute. It's good to go back and refresh, right?
yeah, when something you either haven't done or haven't done in a while, it's sometimes,
Yep.
sometimes we need that.
Yep, I do. That's all.
Thanks, Elaine. Thanks, Elaine. Next is Sheila from Richmond.
What do I do? Just hold it up? Oh, okay. This I made several years ago. I don't know if you can see it. It's cork. It was a something out of Creative Machine Embroidery. It's an owl.
You turn it, I think it's
Oh,
backwards.
it's backwards. I'm sorry.
You can
makes
see
a little
it.
more sense.
What can I say?
Nice.
Anyway, the hardest part was doing the holes and getting these grommets in.
Yeah.
The directions were very easy for the embroidery, but the other part was terrible. She gave no directions. And this was a Viking class we did using the cutout needles.
Nice.
That you did on cork.
Yes, it's all cork.
That it, Sheila?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Sheila.
Yeah, I forgot to, I mean, hopefully you read the email that I sent where I issued the cork challenge after our last meeting for those that maybe haven't tried cork before. And I had very good intentions of doing it myself to do something on cork. And I was not good. I did not do my homework. So hopefully some of the others of you did something on cork, which, you know, if you have anything you want to show, whether it's cork or not, of course, you can show it during show and tell. So next we'll go to Pam from Pikes Peak. Muted, there she goes.
So I showed my cork last time, but it's just like any other fabric. You really can't do too much wrong with it. Unless you have something that's really cheap. If you have a good type of cork, it just does wonderful things. So I taught a towel class to my local embroidery group. And so I'm just going to show off my Easter ones. And so I joined the bandwagon. And if you've been on embroidery Facebook group, the Embroidery Library Facebook group, you'll see that this is one hot commodity. And the nicest thing about it is that somebody figured out that you can do the background with variegated thread. And it stitches out fine, but you can't assume that on every embossed design that you see because they may be digitized differently. This one happened to be digitized perfectly for variegated thread. And this little bunny was a problem because I did it on, it had white on a plaid. So I had to stitch out the white bunny parts twice in order to hide the plaid behind it. If you look like right through here, you can still see the green plaid. Now I know to use like a Floriani block behind it or something else behind it to hide the plaid that you're sticking out on. And then this little guy here, he was from Embroidery Library too.
It's really cute. Yeah, printing, I mean, stitching on anything, a print towel or print fabric behind your design, you know, you just have to be careful that it's going to show up or not show through. If it's something white.
More heartbreaking than to get all done. And if you popped it out of the hoop, well, that one, it would have been impossible to go back and just do the white again because it was so much underneath all the other ones. But it's really disappointing when you get done and you go, oh no. Okay, that's it.
Thank you, Pam. Next is Kim Larkham.
Mute. Okay. So am I unmuted here? Okay.
You are, we hear you.
Great. So I am totally new to, I haven't even had my embroidery machine a year yet. So I'm
where are you from, Kim?
Massachusetts. I'm in the New England ASG group.
Okay.
And so anyways, what I made was for an upcoming christening, I'm making some centerpieces. And I guess this is called, let's see if I can get to a place where you can see these. Is this freestanding lace? Is that FSL? Is that what it's called?
Yes, you are correct.
So I made a bunch of them and I'll be decorating. Here's this one came out the best. I'll be decorating centerpieces with that. And I just basically used the wash away stabilizer, and I used organza and netting on the backing. So it's not completely see-through, but it's translucent, makes it look really pretty. But I'm really enjoying like learning from everybody. That's why I have so many questions. I'm still learning about stabilizers and hooping, and I haven't even gotten to the magnetic hoop yet. So I'm not even there. I'm just still figuring out how to do this. But
and there is a lot to learn. I mean,
there really is. I mean, it's not what I do. I make garments. So this is totally new to me, but I'm learning. And it's a lot of fun.
We're glad you're here. We're glad you're here.
Well, thank you for welcoming me.
Where did you get the cross file?
I got the cross file from embroiderydesigns.com.
Thank you, sweetie.
Yeah, it has a nice little PDF that literally teaches you the steps to do it. Even though I still have to do a little more trimming on it. It's pretty stiff too, so it'll it'll almost stand up by itself. Although I'm going to hang these with a little white ribbon.
Very nice.
Thanks.
Next is Crystal.
Thank you. It's been a while since I was able to attend. I've got some pictures saved on, but I wanted to kind of talk. I think I told you, the Edge to Edge when I do small projects.
Okay, Crystal, you probably want to turn off your blurred background so we can see it better.
Hang on. You'll see my messy place. This is one, it was a bag. I took a bag boot camp, and one of the Edge to Edge just worked perfect for this. This is a leftover piece from another one where this was in my machine. So that's kind of cool. But I do have, let me share. I've got, oh good, you can see my little wall hanging, door hanging.
Birdhouse with the hello spring, yes.
Yeah, now, I enjoy Tuesdays doing the sulky little thing at noon here in Eastern time. And this was last month's project. And it actually called for, I got the kit and it had foam. Well, I did it with my sister, so I let her use the foam. And then I used like a bag. It's not Bosel, it's the other one. I wanted to see the difference. And the foam, my sister's foam, actually came out a little better. But this was just so stinking cute.
It is cute.
let me see if I should be able. Okay, now when we were talking about cork, I bought this pattern for making cork coasters. And I really thought that these were my first two, and I thought they looked like mud. And I was beside myself because I bought the good cork and I did all the instructions. So I took it to my little machine embroidery group and I asked their input, and they thought there was too many stitches. So what I ended up doing was taking out some of the stitches. So this is my latest. And I turned off and they had a lot of stippling. So this is one where I cut the cork out using my scan and cut because I have RA and my hands just don't work too well. So I thought that one came out good. I left some stippling in the center to kind of make it, and I think this is supposed to be, I don't remember what kind of flower they thought it was. And so that one came out really great. And there's 2 layers of cork, one nests on top of the other. And then this one I just thought came out really good. The bottom is a cork with some gold flecks and the top didn't. And I just thought that came out really super great.
Yeah.
It's nice.
So that's my share.
Wow.
Thank you. I think there was just a comment in chat about let me get to chat here. Pam says you can use a wood burning tool to get those edges trimmed nicely and sealed.
Well, I don't do that because I prefer to do the scan and cut once. I don't have to worry about cutting or trimming. Yes, the wood burning thing, but I just don't like using it. I mean, even today, I've got issues with my left hand and I'm a lefty. So I find adaptive ways to do what I want to do. So that's why I don't do the burning tool.
I'm reading some other things in chat that I hadn't read in a bit. So let's see. Pam is asking if anyone knows how to get the 505 spray out of a shirt. She stained several and haven't been able to get it out. So I don't know, but maybe somebody else has a suggestion for you.
Read the instructions on the can.
And Elizabeth sent a message to me that she said she sent me some photos. I did not see photos from her. I have other photos to show, but I didn't see from Elizabeth Bell. So if you sent them after the meeting started, I didn't get to that. Let's see. Dara says there's a great fringe flower bag for free in beyondtheframeembroidery.com. Yeah, some of these have already been answered. The freestanding lace cross that Kim showed. Let's see. Linda from Princeton-Chapter says she's used eucalyptus oil to remove stabilizer residue stains. So whether that would work on the 505 spray, I don't know. And okay, I think I'm caught up in chat. So let's see, next is Britt.
Hello. Sorry, there was a message. So first I have a comment about the magnets on the magnetic frame. I have Viking machines. I missed the start of the presentation because I had to chauffeur one of my kids somewhere. But there is a warning that if you have any pacemakers or anything, be careful with anything that has the magnets because they are so strong. So thought I'd share that. So this is a machine cover, a sewing machine cover.
Wow.
That I made, but I really wanted to make it so that I could try out that edge to edge embroidery. You can't see all of it, but it's sewing themed, so it's got thread and needles and scissors, but it's kind of hidden. But
we don't hear you real
gotta
well,
put
Britt,
it-
when you're holding
You
that up
gotta
in
put
front
it
of you.
down. You got
Okay.
it in front of your microphone.
Oh.
It's a challenge.
Okay. I'll just hold it. Okay, so it has scissors and needles and thread. You can't really see it on this very busy thing, but it's how I tested out edge to edge machine, the embroidery. So it was a good small project and I couldn't mess it up too badly. And we had a virtual retreat with my guild this past weekend. So this is what I was playing with. And this is designed to be a standalone applique, so the front and the back match and there's no fabric in between, but I wanted to put it on the burlap so I could hang it by my front door. And I found that there wasn't a way to line things up. So if you look at the bottom, you can't see it very well this way, but the bottoms don't match up a little bit because it's meant to, when you put it into the hoop, it's meant that you can kind of put things together so it will match up properly. But because I didn't do that and I put it on a fabric, I found that I had to go back to the design and put in some marks so that next time I do it, I can make sure things are level and spaced a little bit better than they were. That's it.
Thank you, Britt. Carolyn Morrison.
First of all, I really enjoy embroidering on cork, and this is a little booklet it's a little notebook that I've done with, and I use cam snaps. So for that, and it's very easy to embroider on cork. The other thing was, this is my big, huge job. Let's see if I can back up enough, is my purse. And because I used gold fixings on it, it's very heavy. But right here, there's a lot of bulk there, so it was a little difficult to go through. But you can see you can sew on cork. So that's my show and tell today.
Very nice. Thank you. Back to the question about removing the adhesive. Regina says Goo Gone will remove adhesive. And some comments on the machine cover and the cork notebook. Okay, next is Jeanette. You're muted, Jeanette. Still muted. Oh, there she goes.
Hi, I'm new here. I was recommended to join you by Kathy Healy. But this is something I made for my nephew's daughter. It's a little fishing game. Each of the fish have magnets in it, and the sinker has a magnet in it. So that was the last thing I embroidered.
It's really cute.
Cute.
Love it.
Thank you. Next is Gail Simpson. Still muted, Gail. Okay.
I'm new, so hopefully I know what I'm doing.
Well, you're here and we hear you.
Okay. Every Christmas we have a real estate company and I make the agents a gift. So I started doing gingerbread houses, which are super easy to make because you got one thread and that's it. So I have already got my Christmas things done, 28 of them.
Good for you.
It's unusual. Usually I don't start till July.
Did you do those on, they look like they're on felt?
Yeah, it's felt.
Okay.
That came from EMB Library. Then the cutest thing I've ever made was, I used to belong to the Red Hat Society. And I made all the agents a freestanding lace hat, cowboy hat. Only thing about that is it's not easy to join pieces because it's so stiff. It'll kill you because you got to do it by hand. I think that's really cute.
Adorable.
Very
Um,
cute, though.
Years ago, I did cross stitch by machine. I have a program, and you can see it or not. You put in every stitch just like you were stitching it out, but it's done by machine. Then you stitch it out on 8 o'clock. I do size 11, I think. And it matches right up to the squares and everything. But I made this 2 or 3 times. That's the advantage of having in a machine, because you can make as many as you want to, not like having to do it again.
Very nice.
I have other stuff, but I couldn't find it this morning. That's it.
Well, thank you. And welcome to our group, or welcome to our Zoom meeting. Debbie, oh, I can't pronounce your last name.
It's Gavain.
Thank you.
I'm pretty sure I made this a while ago, but I used cork. I'm pretty sure I did not share it. So my daughter wanted a pickleball bag. So I did the design there with oh, I can't remember where I got it actually, but there's a bunch of, let me see, there's the inside. Nope, wrong way. There's the other side of the pickleball bag.
Cute.
And that's it.
Thank you for sharing them with us.
You're welcome.
Carol Brown.
Okay, let me take off my background so you can see me. I mean, you can see my things. Okay. All right, guess what I have? Mug rugs. So you've seen a set with a similar shape, but this time I separated the line so that if you're thinking about the top repeat, there's one part of that repeat at 11 o'clock and one at 12 and one at 1. So like the outer line is first, and then the middle line of the second section, and then the inner line of the third. So you get a different kind of color distribution. So this one was only 2 colors, so it turned out looking just alternated. This one is 3. This one is 4. It becomes
Pretty.
more interesting with more colors, I think. This one is 6. It's kind of fiery, you know, in a way. And this one is 12.
Wow.
But you know, I think that the color sharing, when I do this sort of thing, I call it a neighbor design, because each piece is in part of the neighbors. And then I went off in a different direction. So instead of having 3 layers of the same shape, I put what actually turns out to be a 36 repeat design, but 3 repeats are in each section. So in the 11 o'clock, I have the first section as part of it, and then the middle one of 12 o'clock and the rightmost on 1 o'clock. So again, you get a different kind of distribution. I did this one in 2 versions of 4 color. One is solid color and one is this one's variegated. And then I did 12 color, because that's what makes me happiest. And then I did it again with the more loopy design. And on this one, I like how I made the travel between the pieces. It made an interesting center design.
Oh, neat.
Everyone tells me, oh, you did that on a spirograph. Like, nope.
So are you digitizing these yourself?
Yeah, I digitized these.
That's
I
great.
made
They
all the
look
design.
beautiful.
Thank you. This one is 4 colors. This one is 6, but I did pastels instead of, or like jewel tones instead of, the crayon primary colors. And then this one is 12. But I really liked what happened on the inside. I think it's kind of an interesting pattern. Oh, that's all I have today.
Carol? Elizabeth Bell.
I made a quilt and I'm going to try to share some photographs, but it's the first time I've done this, so we'll see if I can. I did send these photos. Okay. I think I've lost the screen completely. Okay, I think I'm going to have to do this another time because I don't know how to do this properly. And
If you would need to have your photo software, have your picture open in your photo software before you do the screen share so that you can find it if you want to need time to do that.
I do have that. I do
Okay.
have that open. I
So
just
when you do
can't
share
find it.
screen, if you click share screen, then and then you choose what you want to show and then click share again, it should work.
It's just when I go to files, it's not giving me anything that looks like mine. So it's none of this looks oh, wait a minute. I think maybe I have something. All right, share. Did I do it? I don't.
Yes, but now you need
But
to
they're tiny.
see
They're tiny. So
so
what I need to
double
okay,
click
so
on one of the double click on one of the images.
There. Is that working? Can anyone see anything or not?
We see the small images. We see your File Explorer image, but you need to have the photo actually open.
Okay, so
close the file and look for the icon for your photos and click on that and share that.
Okay.
You're going to have to stop share and you're going to have to open your photos and stop share and go back to that photo, because if you pick just one image, that's all it allows you to share.
All right.
It's all it allows us to see.
How do I stop sharing now that I'm
I'll stop
the screen?
I see at the top. I see. I got it. Okay.
There
Stop
you go.
that. Okay.
Now, before you go back to share screen, go and open a photo.
Okay. Done that. So now,
and now do share screen.
Go share screen. Okay. I see. So
Yay, there it is.
So it's sharing.
Yes.
Okay. So what I did was each square is a different owl. All the owl embroidery came from Embroidery Library and their sister group. I'm forgetting the name of that one right now, but there's another group that is owned by the same
Urban
people.
Threads.
Yes, that's it. So they came from either one of those two places. And the idea was just to have like frames. So I'm in the process of quilting. Some of it looks a little puffy with the lines because I'm trying to frame, like quilt along the lines for the frames. And then I'll probably just do some free motion quilt around the edge. So I'll see if I can show you a few more. But it's taken me a while. It's not finished, but it's taken me a while to get all the embroidery squares done. So are you seeing these as
Yes.
There we go. So this is the machine I'm using now is an older machine to do the actual quilting lines. So this is sort of set up as of this morning. And you can see how some of the lines are puffier because that's the idea is that I want to quilt along each line to make it pop. So I've done one set of rows, but not the other yet. And then around the edge, it's the owl fabric, which I'll just do some free motion stuff on. So that was it.
Very nice. Very nice,
For my,
Elizabeth.
thank you. It's for my granddaughter. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's see. I don't see anyone else with a hand raised by the icon, but if you have something you want to show or share, wave at us or speak and we will see anybody jumping up and down. Kat, do you have something?
I don't have, I'm sorry, I don't have anything to share because everything I make, I give to somebody. Okay, there. I've made a bazillion luggage tags because my granddaughters travel a lot. My kids don't yet, but I've given those all away. But I love embroidering on cork. To me, it's like spreading soft butter. That's what cork feels like to me. Maybe one of these days I'll make something for me. But it's a lovely, lovely non-fiber thing to work with. That's all. And thank you.
For those that haven't done anything with cork yet, you can do it. I have some photos to share from people that, oh, I just saw somebody waving. We'll come back to you. I have some photos to share that people sent to me. So let me switch over here and share. That one we saw already. All right, why is that? I'll move this thing out of the way. Come on. All right, this is from Martha. Martha sent to me, I think, a couple of photos that she did for a project for an embroidery group in the Philadelphia chapter. They made a stained glass embroidery design and placed the design on a glass block. There's two photos that show the comparison of the colors before and after she turns on the pixie lights that are inserted inside the block. Let me see. Nope, go the other way. There's one with the lights. Oh, wait, that's not Martha. I thought there were two. Well, let me. There's Martha's other picture without the lights. I don't know why they're not in order. The design was purchased from Embroidery Library. She embroidered on organza and water-soluble stabilizer. She used Vilene. Soaked the finished design to remove the stabilizer, trimmed the organza close to the edges, and attached it to the block with double-sided tape. The instructions on how to add embroider to glass blocks came from Embroidery Library. They've been doing a bunch of designs lately that are done on organza to put onto a glass block. I know that some of our members have shown this before, but there you can see the one with the lights, where the lights lit up. So it really looks pretty cool. Let's see. This one is from Kathy Healy. Kathy, are you still here? If not, I'll read what she said. Let's see. The first one is an entry for a 6x6 exhibit. An art gallery in Rochester sponsors every year. All right, they're not. I don't know why they're not in order. Photo 3 is a garden flag stitched with a solar eclipse motif. Let me make this a little bigger. She's from the Rochester chapter and says we'll be experiencing totality in Rochester on April 8th for the solar eclipse day. And she also did, look familiar, same design that Martha did. Stained glass design that was stitched on organza and attached to a glass block with a light inside. Now wait, I think there's another one. Where did it go? There is one more, and I know oh, there it is. Gerhard Turner from the Austin chapter did this on cork. And she said it's an OESD design, reverse applique notebook cover. So she accepted my challenge for doing something on cork. And I think that's all the photos that people sent me that I got. Elizabeth, I don't know if I overlooked your photos or not. Let's see. There's something else in chat, and I think somebody else wanted to show something. Somebody wanted to know a good supply for cork. We did a program last month. We had a supplier from Millie's Design Company who did a program for us on cork. If you did not get to watch that, let me know and I can send you the link from last month's meeting. How do you get the lights inside the glass block? I thought they were sealed all around. Well, somebody who did them was going to have to share. I think some of them, you can buy some with a hole in them, I believe, but all right, here's an answer. Buy the glass blocks at Hobby Lobby. They come with a hole in them. I knew there was some way to get the lights inside of them. All right, Carolyn's got her hand up. And then Carol, I think, were you just waving at me?
Yes.
Okay.
What I was going to say is if you're starting out working with cork, the best place and the cheapest place to get cork is Hobby Lobby, especially when they have their 40% off fabric, which is like every other week. And both of the corks that I showed, like this one, is the Hobby Lobby cork. It's the beige. But cork can be very, very expensive. And so I always try everything out first with my Hobby Lobby stuff. And lately it's been running about $17 a yard, but it's 54 inches wide. It's in the upholstery area. They also have some decent vinyl if you want to practice on that too.
Thank you. Pam from Pikes Peak.
Just a short, I did that same sun design for the last eclipse, and I put it on a shirt, but I did it with glow in the dark thread.
Oh, cool.
So as it went down, then my shirt showed up. So that's an idea for anybody who's in the eclipse point. Okay.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Me.
Did somebody? Ginny? Okay, sorry.
In reference to the cork and the vinyl, I guess, you know, what the lady just said about buying some and trying it out if you're kind of learning. But if you're making a gift or something from somebody and you're spending your time and your money, it's kind of like, are you going to use a cheap thread or whatever? And I'm in for helping small businesses. And the two people that we had on the vinyl and the cork, both of those, the cork comes from Portugal, which is the main source of cork. It's not Chinese. And the vinyl is made in the US, which helps people here. So I look at that. I look at the quality of the product as far as, is it going to last? Because I've bought stuff from Hobby Lobby and I'm not against them, don't get me wrong, or, you know, Joann's or whatever. But if you compare the three different ones and you have them side by side, you can definitely feel and see a difference because I've done that. So that's my 2 cents worth.
Thank you, Ginny. Anybody else? Anything to share with us? Speak now or hold it till next month. Okay, I guess that's it for this month. And wait a minute, something just came in chat. Depending upon your cork project, you might be able to, oops, I lost it. Might be able to get away with using lower quality cork. If you're making a bag or wallet, invest in higher quality cork. So because it will likely hold up better. All right.
Carol Brown has her hand up.
Oh, Carol.
I have one more thing. I have to find it so I can screen share it. Just a second. Okay. Okay. Just take me a moment. There it is. Okay. All right, let me share now. Share screen. Okay. A friend wanted to make a towel for someone she knows who was Chinese and had a baby recently. And this is the year of the dragon. So she wanted a dragon. So I found this picture and I digitized it for her. I simplified it a lot because this was way too fussy with all the ridges on the back. And then she embroidered it. So I just wanted to show you I can make something that's not a swirl. But she was very pleased. The ridges are applique. So she added a fabric in there.
Okay, yeah, it matches the thread color pretty well.
Yeah.
If you hadn't said it was applique, I
Right.
would.
But I
like-
just to make it a little bit simpler, you know.
Mhm.
But I did, you know, I took off some of the things from it, like the multicolors and the little flanges on the head and the tail and the little wingy things on the feet. I took those off because they didn't really add anything. And all the decoration on the face, I took all that off. That was way too complicated for the size she wanted to embroider.
Right.
But I had in my software, there is a fill called the column fill, and you can add a fill pattern to it. And what happens is that the fill follows the shape instead of just being straight across. So I was able to give a look of the scales, sort of, you know.
Very nice.
So that just shows I don't have to only do swirls. I forgot about that earlier.
What program do you use? Can you share
I use
that?
my Sonnet, the Viking, the newest version of the Viking
Okay.
software, and Pfaff and Singer actually also.
Oh, great.
But
Okay.
it was a
Thank
lot
you.
of fun. Thank you.
But anybody can try that program. They have 4 different levels that you can get. One's a free one, and then there's 3 different
Right.
ones you can purchase either monthly or yearly or whatever. But
Right. And
it's
you
open
can
to
also
everybody.
you can also buy it outright where you don't have a fee per month. They call that the box set, even though it's a download. And that's what I have.
And I have the one that is the subscription where I pay for 10 months, but I get 12.
Right.
And now I got an email the last couple of weeks where the library and my Sonnet used to be separate, and now they're incorporating them all into one at the same price. So that's an even better deal because the price of the software for the yearly subscription went down over $150 from a year ago. So I was real happy with that for this
Well,
year.
it used to be all together, and then they separated it out.
And now
then
they
they're-
put it back together
Now,
again.
see, the price when it was all together was $50 a month, but there was a savings if you paid for a year. But I don't buy designs, I don't download designs. So since the library by itself was $25 a month, if you didn't have the software, I was essentially paying double what I was using per month. So that's why I bought the software outright, because I would never use the library.
Well, I bought the whole thing because the one thing I do use I have their ribbon attachment for the Viking and Pfaff machines. So that's the only place that makes the designs. But if you buy a membership that's monthly or yearly, you get to use the designs without paying for the designs.
I know.
You can go in and buy a design. So
right.
There's a lot of pluses, but anybody can use the free version and different things to try it out, or even, if you're doing something special and you find something, you can buy it for a month. It's not that big deal now that they have the free and 3 other price points, I think is what they just changed
The
to.
free version has basic customizing where you can change the color of something or combine 2 or add a name, but it doesn't have the editing capability, it doesn't have the digitizing for the free version.
Right. I don't digitize really, but I use all the other stuff.
Right. So, I digitize. That's what when I first heard of machine embroidery, I wasn't interested until I learned that there was programs for digitizing. And I'm happy that, I mean, there's so many ways to be creative. Even if you buy designs, you're still putting your own touch to it, what colors you choose, what you add it on, or what you combine it with. But for me, the fun is making my own design. It's just what I enjoy.
And it shows that you enjoy it.
I do.
Thanks,
I
Jenny and
love it.
Carol. Carolyn Marson has her hand up.
I agree with you, Ginny, about buying quality cork when you're ready to advance. I suggest Hobby Lobby if you've never done anything and you want to work with it. The place that I get cork sometimes is from a website called So Sweetness, sosweetness.com. And their cork runs about a lot more expensive, but sometimes they have sales. But they've got all the different colors and with fleckles of silver in it and so forth. So I agree with you, Jenny. If you're going to spend the time and the money, use good quality cork for your gifts and so forth like that.
Thank you. Millie's she also designs rather than just flecks or colors. She actually does prints and patterns and stuff like fabric on the cork.
Right.
So
What's
you don't
what's
see
that
too
location?
much. Pardon me?
How do you buy that?
You can go to her website and order it online.
And what's it called?
Millie's
His design company.
Millie's what?
Millie's Design. It's in chat.
Design company.
Oh,
It's
I
named
don't know
after
that one.
it's named after her grandmother.
Thank you. I don't know that one.
We didn't know it either, and she was in our backyard.
Our
It's a
program
long
last
walk for
month,
me.
Carolyn, our program
Pardon
for
me?
last month was on cork. But
Oh, I'm
and
sorry. I missed.
Erin from Millie's Design did a program for us last month on cork.
Ah.
If you missed that and you want the video link to last month's meeting, send me an email and I'll send you the link for that.
I save your emails.
Okay. I like it when people save.
She was at one of the meetings too for the vinyl, right? Didn't she? Is that the same woman? She's
No, it was
very
different.
nice.
It was different woman.
Oh, okay. She was very nice.
It was Renata from Your Vinyl
Sharman.
Source
Yeah.
did our program in January on vinyl, and then in February we had the program on cork, both of whom were suggested
Thank
by
you.
Ginny Stein. So,
Oh, all right.
I happened to stumble across them when I went to a couple of local shops, these two women, and they're home-based businesses. The one used to, got laid off during the pandemic. The other lady is, like a lot of us, a senior citizen, and she needed an income to supplement. And somehow she got into this. I mean, she's a bag person. She used to make a lot of bags, but they both just started these businesses. And the one with the cork she's getting ready to open a store in a nearby town that she's going to be selling fabric and doing a lot of classes and stuff there. So I'm looking forward to going to hopefully a couple of classes over the next, the rest of this year sometime, because she's supposed to be open by June. But right now, everything she does is online.
thank you, Ginny. Anybody else? Anything? Nobody waving at me? I don't think I see any more hands. So on that note, we will say goodbye until next time and look for an email within the next day or so from me with the video link. And I don't know that I have any other information to share related to this, but I'll include the attachment with the information from chat as well. So thanks for joining us and happy spring, happy stitching.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter. And we'll see you in April. Thank you. Bye.